But it's going to be an interesting situation to see unfold as we get closer and closer to Night of Champions Extreme Rules, where all the championships are going to be on the line, including the WEDF Championship, as these two men currently will face off in a one-on-one singles match.
Well, you got to think a lot of variables are still in question, like with this tag match. We could see a one-on-one at Night of Champions, or we could see a fatal four-way.
That is correct. Now we see Jeff Hardy seeming a little hesitant around Stone Cold Steve Austin. It just seems like with Stone Cold, he's just been a little grittier lately than usual. He hasn't been, he's still been Stone Cold. But I mean, I just think it seems like Stone Cold has taken a tougher stance with someone like Jeff Hardy.
Well, these two definitely a contrast of personalities, of styles. I mean, you won't see Stone Cold wearing face paint in the ring anytime soon.
That is correct, but also at the same time, I think some people might have to agree with Stone Cold, as Stone Cold has told Jeff Hardy, it doesn't matter how many years you've worked for this opportunity, don't enlighten us with all that inspirational bullshit. Learn that you're facing your toughest challenge, and that you are fighting for the right to be the best wrestler in the world. Focus on that. Don't get this crowd hyped up. Focus on me. I'm your opponent, not them. But you see, Stone Cold Steve Austin more than ready for his WEDF Championship match at Extreme Rules. But for him and Jeff Hardy tonight, they're going to have to work together if they're going to keep this thing between the two of them as a one-on-one bout, as a bit of a, I don't know how to put it, but let's just say 2's company, 3's a crowd, 4's overkill, something like that. Yeah?
Well, most definitely, but I mean, in the Fatal 4-Way, who does the championship advantage, or who does the advantage go to? I mean, who do you think thrives the best in a 4-way type situation?
I mean, it's hard to tell, because even if say Miz and John Morrison surprisingly work together to get into the WEDF Championship match, you're going to have 4 extremely talented athletes in that match. But this man, if this were a 4-way match, this would be the X factor right here. As the Miz has just been a volatile, unstable, loose cannon as of late. The man has been on a tangent. Everybody here knows how much I don't like the Miz. Everybody here knows how much disdain I have when I see that man coming out with a sick smile on his face, bragging about how he's the best, this and that, and taking out people with no regard for human life as it is. But I gotta say, he would be the X factor I'd look out for in that 4-way match. We do have to mention though, Garrett, although these two men are now hated enemies and can't stand the sight of each other, 3 years ago, that man right there, John Morrison, was in a tag team with The Miz until John Morrison chose to split away from The Miz and go solo. Now you look at the decorated careers of both men. You look at how far John Morrison has come. The man is a 2-time WEDF champion, the former United States champion, former Mr. Money in the Bank, former tag team champion, former hardcore champion. This man has done it all, and he has become the first Grand Slam champion in WEDF. The man is a very decorated athlete, and so for John Morrison, I definitely think Morrison is going to be looking to, no matter if he has to work with Miz or not, he's going to be looking to get in that WEDF Championship match at any and all costs. And then we have the charismatic enigma, Jeff Hardy, the man who defeated John Morrison 2 weeks ago in a hard-fought #1 contenders match. We know Jeff Hardy seems uncertain about facing Stone Cold Steve Austin one-on-one. We know Jeff Hardy seems to have some butterflies in his stomach. We know Stone Cold Steve Austin is trying to snap Jeff Hardy out of it. But tonight, That's not important. The whole fiasco at in Philadelphia when Jeff Hardy challenges Stone Cold Steve Austin for the WEDF Championship, that's not important. Tonight, what's important to Jeff Hardy is working together with Stone Cold Steve Austin, his opponent, to keep two other men out of the WEDF Championship match.
Well, I mean, you gotta believe that the Miz and Morrison, despite their shortcomings, would make an excellent team now that they have all the championship prestige. What kind of a team does the extremely different separated styles of Stone Cold and Jeff Hardy really add up to? I mean, you gotta think, one's a brawler, one's a high flyer. It won't mesh well in a tag team situation.
But to their credit, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Jeff Hardy have been in notable tag teams. For those of you who don't remember, of course we know Jeff Hardy. His brother's Matt Hardy. They used to be the Hardy Boys. Matt Hardy is not in WEDF anymore. God bless his soul. But in any case, for Stone Cold Steve Austin, something that a lot of people don't bring up. The man was in a well-known tag team in WCW called the Hollywood Blondes with Brian Pillman.
Very true, but that was long ago. And you know, Stone Cold has gone under his own evolution, as it were, since then. He's modified who he is in his style.
Oh, I agree with you there. But I'm just saying, don't discredit those two men for having different styles. Both of these men know how tag team situations work, so I would imagine there's got to be a little bit of similar chemistry between Austin and Hardy. But in the meantime, we have this to deal with, as we don't know exactly what's going to happen here. As we all saw earlier tonight, is The Miz actually going to work with John Morrison, or is he going to stand by his beliefs? We'll find out as our main event is underway. Miz from behind, going for the strike to the back. Hardy ducks underneath. Big hip toss from the charismatic Enigma.
Well, Jeff Hardy definitely taking the early stance in this match, definitely going in there with the definite advantage. I mean, look at him after that big Frankensteiner.
Absolutely. Now look, Hardy whipping Miz into the corner, being a little hesitant. Austin dropped off, didn't want to make the tag, I guess, but Jeff Hardy with a beautiful tornado DDT there. And now going to tag in Stone Cold Steve Austin. Here we go.
It's Miz and Stone Cold, and I mean, you got to think the personal animosity between these two goes further than this tag match. This tag match is kind of small beans in comparison.
We do have to bring up, this is the first time that Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Miz have been in the same ring over a couple weeks. I don't think they've even been in the same ring together since Lashing Back.
You know, I can't imagine. So, I mean, Miz has just been tearing up our arenas as of late and not really getting in the ring nearly as much. I mean, Stone Cold, definitely. I mean, if him and The Miz were to go at it, that would not be a match that would last very long. They'd get themselves disqualified. They'd get themselves counted out.
You don't know what the only time will tell if that match would ever happen again, as Austin had the cover, but John Morrison quick to save the match with a backdrop suplex on Austin, again trying to help out The Miz. You see John Morrison is trying to work with his partner, but I'm not sure if the feeling is mutual.
Well, you know, I'm sure these two had their matches back when they were a tag team. They had everything planned out. They knew all their double teams, all their this, all their that. But, you know, time's gone by, their styles have changed, and I don't know if they mesh together as a tag team anymore.
You see now Miz getting the hell out of Dodge, not wanting to deal with Stone Cold anymore, quickly going to tag in John Morrison, and John Morrison gladly willing to take the fight to Stone Cold. Look at this, John Morrison with a beautiful tilt-the-world kind of head scissor style DDT. I don't know there, but we're just going to call it a DDT for fuck's sake. And look at this! Into the small package! What? Wait a minute. Did I just see that? Did Miz really just break up a pin that John Morrison had? What are you doing, you idiot?
Miz is trying to screw with the best thing that his best opportunity.
And oh, look at that!
Maybe he thinks he's good enough so that he'll get his championship opportunity at another point, and that he can skip out on this one.
He just tagged himself in! You're going in there to screw with John Morrison, you tag yourself. The audacity of the Miz, it just sickens me. How low the so-called awesome one is gonna sink. And look, he still doesn't want to deal with Stone Cold Steve Austin. So why'd you even tag yourself in the match anyway, you idiot?
He wanted the psychological advantage to be able to pin Stone Cold Steve Austin. And you know, now he's displaying some camaraderie and teamwork with his partner by, you know, they're trying to keep themselves fresh with those constant tags.
Camaraderie, more like Miz is a fucking psycho.
Miz definitely works at his own pace, not so much like Jeff Hardy where he dances to the beat of his own drum, but he's definitely not going to conform to what Vince McMahon wants, what Stone Cold wants, what anybody wants.
And look at Jeff Hardy. Oh no! You see though, Stone Cold didn't want to tag in Jeff Hardy right away, but not gonna matter to John Morrison as he connects with that flash kick. 1,